Hey, what's up, college football fans? Tiger Paul in the house once again. Today, we're just going to talk a little bit about Clemson's upcoming game against South Carolina State. It's not a premier game. It's not a game that, if you're not a Clemson fan, you're probably not paying attention to this game at all, nor do you care about the outcome. But I just want to talk a little bit about the game, get my thoughts on what I would like to see accomplish in the game, what I would like to see improve, and just overall my thoughts on the game. First and foremost, before we get into the game, I just want to say I really like that Dabo Swinney does this with the in-state schools. These schools, if you guys don't know, which I'm sure you do if you're a college football fan, you kind of know that these smaller schools, they rely on games like this with big schools like Clemson in order to make their budget for the year. Not just for their football team. Their entire athletic budget depends on games like this. So as much as a lot of fans out there want to criticize and say, hey, give me games and blah, 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 like, hey, part of it is spreading the wealth around. And I like that Dabo Swinney keeps it within the state of South Carolina when he plays the small schools, like Clemson, South Carolina State, or not Clemson, Citadel, South Carolina State, so on and so forth. He likes to try to keep it in-state when they're writing those big checks, which, in my opinion, is pretty awesome. All right, so let's get into the game. One of the big things, we get Tyler Davis back, which is huge. I wish we would have had him in the Georgia game, but at the end of the day, we didn't. So I'm glad we get Tyler Davis back. Look forward to seeing his first snaps of the season. He's a beast. We all know he's a beast. He's not going to struggle against South Carolina State. He'll absolutely maul that offensive line, as will Brian Brzee, and probably our defensive ends as well. So I look for a big game on the defensive side of the ball. I just hope they come out as motivated as they should be. We don't want to take any game for granted. We want to treat every game with the proper respect, because these players work just as hard as Clemson players. And hey, we don't want to leave no doubts. Okay, we already got a hiccup on our schedule, right? We already lost to Georgia. You can say what you want about the game. Doesn't matter at this point. We lost to Georgia. Fact of the matter is, we pretty much have to leave no doubt the rest of the season. We have to leave no doubt for the rest of our ACC lineup that we are miles ahead of the ACC. Because let's be honest, the ACC is absolute garbage this year. It is bad. It is horrible. So that doesn't look good for Clemson. We probably won't play another ranked team the rest of the year. Maybe if we get lucky, we play one in the ACC championship game, but I mean, I'm not holding my breath about it, right? So we get Tyler Davis back, so I look for a big day on the defensive side of the ball. Hopefully, I know Nolan Turner's still out for this game. Hopefully he's back the following week, and we can kind of see where he's at as far as from a health standpoint and as far as from, how he's going to play this year. But, hey, Makuba balled out, so I'm not mad that he gets more playing time. That'll just develop him even further and make him a better player. I hope our DBs get a little bit more work back there. Just keep improving. But yeah, I look for a big game for our defense. I don't think they'll struggle at all. I think it'll be an easy game for them. Hopefully we can get a lot of rotational guys in, a lot of young guys, a lot of guys that maybe we'll use later on in the year on a kind of rotational basis to give guys a breather. Maybe they can get in, get some reps, get better. Hopefully we get out of this game, as I say, with all of these not lesser teams, but just less talented teams. I just pray we get out of the game, injury-free, first of all. No injuries on either side of the ball, or on South Carolina State sides for that matter. Now, moving over to the offensive side of the ball, we need to see leaps and bounds above what we saw last week against Georgia. Not just because we're playing South Carolina State, but I just want to see, our timing improve with the receivers. All last game against Georgia, DJ and the receivers did not seem to be on the same page, and that was really weird. Like, they didn't seem to be on the same page at all. They didn't seem to have very much chemistry, to be completely honest. DJ on a couple different plays thought they were going one way and they went another way. So I don't know if that was that probably had something to do with the game plan that Georgia came in, but I think it also had to do with, you know, maybe some I don't know, some misreads on either DJ or the receiver's part. Now, I'm not an X's and O's guys. I don't break down plays. I'm not a coach. I'm not a play caller, so I'm not going to pretend to know anything about that. I'm just saying from a fan's perspective, it looked like they weren't meshing. They weren't seeing the same things out there. So, be that will it may, hopefully we see a much improved product on the field, and we better, because, I mean, South Carolina State doesn't quite measure up to Clemson talent-wise. So hopefully we see a lot better production out of the passing game. And God, please, my next subject, running the freaking ball. I know it's South Carolina State, and I don't care what people will say after the game. Well, they just ran it on South Carolina State, and Clemson only beat South Carolina State. They got beat by Georgia. They got beat by the only good team they played this year. I don't care about that. Whatever. You know what? Cool. We got beat by the only good team we played. I don't care about that. All I want is for Tony Elliott to please commit to running the dang football. Run the ball. Run the ball. Okay, let's get our running back some reps. Let's find out what we have in that backfield. Okay, let's find out what Will Shipley is. Let's find out what Lynn J. Dixon's going to be this year. Please don't let him be suspended for some crazy stuff again. Like, who knows why he was suspended? I don't know. They'll never tell us why he was suspended. He was probably just late to a team meeting or something, which I get it. You got to keep your program disciplined and all, and I agree with that. But at the end of the day, like, why didn't he come out in the second half? He was only suspended for the first half, so why wasn't he the first carry out in the second half of that Georgia game? But, you know, I digress. Whatever. Let it go, right? I'll let it go eventually. But hopefully we see some commitment from the coaching staff for running the ball, for establishing the run. We cannot go out there and throw the ball on 80-90% of the plays. It just won't work. I don't care who you're playing against. It's not going to work. You become super predictable, and you just nobody respects the run game. So then they just tee off with crazy blitzes, dialing up all kind of exotic blitzes and stuff. And at the end of the day, you don't have time to exercise your passing game. So you got to have some semblance of a running game in order to do anything in college football. That's just what I believe. So I hope we really focus on the run game this week as well as the passing game. I hope at the end of the day, when we look back after the game on Saturday, I hope it's a close 50-50 mix of runs and passes. Next, the offensive line play. I mean, that's the elephant in the room, right? Coming out of the Georgia game, the offensive line was abysmal. There were certain aspects of it that were on DJ. I'm sure there were certain aspects that were on the line. I'm sure there were certain aspects on the running backs that didn't pick up certain blitzes and whatnot. I'm sure there's plenty of blame to go around from a play calling standpoint, from DJ setting the protection standpoint, from the center calling out the protection standpoint, from the running backs not releasing fast enough out of the backfield to give DJ a chance. But we got to see better play out of that offensive line. We just have to. So hopefully we see that week. Hopefully you guys like and subscribe if you like what you see. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Tiger Paul out.